Kalaflahiatu, I'm Esther Pavihi and welcome to BCN News. We begin tonight with the state funeral for the former Premier of Niue, Honourable Sunny Elia Langietama Lakatani, held last Friday. Held at his village, Tuapa Uhomotu, the former Premier was laid to rest, surrounded by those he held dear, his family and the people of Niue. He passed away in Wellington, New Zealand on the 17th of January. He was 89 years old. The church of the village of Tuapa Uhomotu was full to capacity on Friday afternoon as people gathered to pay their final respects to former Premier Honourable Sunny Lakatani. His daughter, Mrs. Gayleen Wilson, delivered the eulogy.
On the 17th of January at 0050 hours, Dad was surrounded by us, calling out to the Lord to receive him, and so he took his final breath, the greatest moment that we will carry for the rest of our lives. As I near towards the end of this wonderful moment, our family take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge the government of Niue, our Prime Minister Dalton Tangilangi, for granting our father's wishes to be brought home. Tuapa Uhomotu, the people of Niue Nukututa, we have brought the son of King Country home, and so we humbly ask you to receive him. Never forget him as a brave warrior, a fine leader, a great man, and our dad.
Former Speaker Honourable Tama Pusimani spoke about his time as Speaker of the Whanokepule during Lakatani's premiership. The acting Prime Minister Honourable Esa Mona Ainu spoke on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Niue government.
On behalf of the Honourable Prime Minister and the Government of Niue, I rise with humility and gratitude as Acting Prime Minister to honour the life and the work of Honourable Sunny Elia Langietama Lakatani, a leader whose public service helped shape a pivotal era in our self-governing country. The Government has already expressed its deepest condolences to his family and our nation. We gather now to give thanks for a life spent in service for Niue. Honourable Sunny Lakatani, his pathway into national leadership began with the confidence of the people in 1990. He was elected to the Niue Legislative Assembly, entering the whānau at a time of high expectations and demanding responsibilities. From 1993 to 1996, he served as Minister of Finance and Minister of Economic Planning, stewarding a core portfolio that sit at the heart of any small nation's stability and future prospects. He was later entrusted with our country's highest office as Premier of Niue from 1999 to 2002. He went back into politics in 2002, the term 2002 to 2005. Those dates and titles tell only part of the story. Honourable Lakatani's leadership was distinctive, unorthodox, and colourful. Certainly, but also marked by a determination to test boundaries and to search for pathways that might bring jobs, investment, and resilience to Niue.
Speaker Honourable Hema Douglas spoke on behalf of the Niue Assembly.
We have come today to this sacred place, to this house of the Lord, to remember and to celebrate an extraordinary man, a very special man, a man who in many ways is the embodiment of what it is to be a Niuean. And I'm reminded of that saying, you can take the boy out of Niue, but you cannot take Niue away from the boy. Sunny finally ended his career, his political career, in the political arena, and when his ill health demanded that he relocate to New Zealand, he took Niue with him. And he continued to show an interest in the affairs of his home island. And that comes when you love your island with a passion. This man, Sani Lakatani, he lived and he breathed Niue in his political life. And when he became the leader of our country, there was simply not enough hours in the day for him to devote to the task of looking after what he regarded as the most valuable piece of real estate on this earth. The question that some of you might be asking is, how did Sa get himself into this? How did he get into politics? What made him decide to give up his life in New Zealand and to come home? When Sani ended his career in the New Zealand Army, he returned to the island to set up business. Now, as we know, his business venture didn't turn out as well as he had expected. But that experience triggered something in him. No one invites failure into their lives. But our greatest passions, our greatest gifts, our greatest abilities are often the byproduct of our failures. Because failures have a way of helping us to rediscover our purpose in life. And so it was with this man. When his business venture failed, he decided that he would go into politics. But even then, when it was widely known that Sani wanted to go into politics, he was more or less made to run the gauntlet. He was told, "We were here first. You go to the back of the queue and take your place there." He persevered, and through his perseverance, he won the trust of his people.
Despite the heavy rain and the gusting winds, the skies dried up in time for the burial ceremony conducted a few meters from the church. The crowd stayed to pay their respects to a leader who was not short of ideas to develop this country, a leader who dared to push boundaries for his people. For the people of Tuapa and their Member of Parliament, the Acting Prime Minister Honourable Esa Moana Ainu, it was their duty to uphold the traditions and demonstrate the utmost respect for one of their own. For his family, it was the end of a long journey from Wellington to Auckland in New Zealand, holding memorial services in both cities before bringing their grandfather home to his final resting place. And Prime Minister Dalton Tagilangi was not present at the state funeral last week. He had left the island to formalise diplomatic relations with Germany in Auckland. Prime Minister Tagilangi met with Germany's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Johann Wadful, and signed the joint declaration on the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. The government's press statement says that the establishment of diplomatic relations strengthens Niue's engagement within the international community and also creates new opportunities for cooperation with Germany across regional and global platforms. It also supports future partnerships on areas of shared priority, including matters important to Niue as a small island developing state. The statement quotes Prime Minister Tagilangi saying that for a small island country like Niue, these moments matter. They strengthen our place in the international community and open the door to new partnerships. And this reflects our shared commitment to friendship, cooperation, and mutual respect. The members of the Niue Assembly held their first sitting of the year yesterday. Unfortunately, due to continuous technical issues with the Niue Assembly's conferencing system, the meeting was not broadcast live on Radio Sunshine or TV Niue. Only one motion was noted on the order paper from Common Roll member Honourable Billy Talangi, seeking the support of the Assembly to call on the government to repeal the regulation that requires excessive duty on motor vehicles that are more than 15 years old that are being brought into the island. Here's more.
Several members had questions for the ministers. The member for Alofi North, Tutuli Haka, asking the Minister of Finance for an update on the government's current deficit budget. There was also questions about the Department of Agriculture, Forestry and Fisheries and if the government intends to have a proper office for this department. The member for Liku, Longopasi Seumanu, had one question for the Minister of Central Agencies regarding public-private partnerships, asking which department or which businesses or entities are involved in public-private partnerships with the government. Common Role Member Honourable Billy Talangi had several questions, including a question for the Minister of Police to explain to the Assembly why government vehicles are not subjected to a current warrant of fitness requirement when they're being driven on public roads.
A 4.8% increase in card spending during the festive season on the island was reported by the Niue Development Bank yesterday. The report compared card spending from December 2024 and January 2025 with the spending from December 2025 and January 2026, which saw an increase of 4.8% in EFTPOS card spending. Here's more.
According to the report, this shows a clear visitor-driven growth in the local economy. Breaking down the data, the total EFTPOS spend of 4.8%, rising from 5.18 million in 2024-2025 festive season to 5.43 million for the 2025-2026 period, an increase of 249,000. Despite making up only 19% of total spend, credit card spending increased by 21.6%, an increase of $183,000. A slight increase in debit card spending with 1.5% increase or $66,000, indicating a stable local consumption. According to the Niue Development Bank, this data reinforces the importance of tourism, events and visitor flows to Niue's short to medium-term economic performance, while also highlighting the need to continue lifting local productivity and domestic economic activity to be able to lift incomes in the future.
The Niue Public Health Division of the Health Department is continuing to monitor the hand, foot and mouth disease. There are a number of cases on the island. Earlier this week, the public health team of the Health Department announced that as of the 2nd of this month, a total of 13 cases were reported. 9 of them are currently active. 4 children have recovered. Most of the cases are among infants to upper primary school age children. There were no severe cases reported.
The cases remain localized, with transmission mainly identified in school and early childhood settings. As a result, the Ofanga Tolotolopulu creche has been closed until further notice. The hand-foot-mouth disease is a common childhood illness and is usually mild, but it spreads very easily through close contact. The Health Department are asking the parents and caregivers of the little ones to be vigilant and to help stop the spread and reduce the risk of infecting others. The public health team is working closely with the schools and the community to help keep our little ones safe and healthy.
And staying with the Health Department in collaboration with the University of Auckland will be conducting the first ever National Mental Health and Wellbeing Survey this month. Starting next week and running until the 26th of the month, the survey is to gather information that will help policymakers understand better the extent of mental health and well-being needs in the country, and secondly, to better understand what good mental health and well-being looks like for the people of Niue.
The survey is open to anyone who is over the age of 18 and lives on the island. Participation is voluntary and the Health Department is encouraging as many people to take part. Information collected is confidential and the team led by professionals from the University of Auckland and from the Department of Health will conduct short interviews to collect the data. More on this story in our bulletin next week.
And this week, the team at Niue Power Corporation continue their installation of several new transformers around the island. In order to do this, power was switched off to certain areas around the island. The areas most affected were from Namaui Makefu to Liku on the east coast.
According to the public notice from the Niue Power Corporation, these scheduled power outages is to continue the installation of new transformers and switchgear to improve their future operations. A reminder to treat cables as live at all times and to protect expensive appliances, disconnect appliances during the power outages.
And that is our bulletin for tonight. Remember to join our friends at the New Zealand High Commission for Waitangi Day Fun Day, planned for families and friends on the island on Saturday, this coming weekend at Tāpeo. It will start at 10:30 in the morning until 2 p.m. So looking forward to seeing you there, having fun with our friends from New Zealand to celebrate Waitangi Day. But that is our news for tonight. We wish you good night. Unene po na no wha.